Alright, now one of the things that you have to keep in mind here, especially when you're handling the shutter a lot, as if, you know, not as much as what we've done here, of course, but in transit, sometimes the shutter itself can slip out of the casing and the track. Very easy to adjust it, so don't worry about that. We'll show you how to do that later in case the window was on its side or even upside down in some cases, because the shutter has to come out of the box and into this track. So when the shutter is in a full up position, it will always have to stick out just a little bit, just enough so that it will continue to come down. So that's part of the adjustment process to make sure after installation that that's the case. And obviously you'll see we'll have to do that because ours is completely, you know, jumbled around. So this is the bottom of the shutter here. So the shutter is going to come out this way, which means we have to turn the box this way and feed it through down into and over the window. Alright, I just spun the window around, and what I did to make installation easier if you're working solo is I just took the box, the shutter mechanism, and you can see it's flopping around, so don't worry about it. What you need to do is the plastic piece that you put on the top, you know, that you saw me do in previous segment, will fit right in here. And if you have the box level to the same height, as you can see I've leveled it so that the box, the shutter box is level with the tracks, you'll be able to slide it in beautifully and marry the two up. There's a little white protrusion here that lines up with the middle of the track. It'll all be very obvious to when you're looking at it, especially if you've watched this. So we're just going to slide it in, put in a couple of screws, then we're going to attach this component, put back the styrofoam, the cover, and we're done. So the next step is, let's just attach the shutter mechanism itself. So that just slid in beautifully on that side. One screw here. This is a Phillips. Don't over tighten these screws. They don't need to be excessively tightened, just so that they fit snug, and that's it. Now let's just do the other side. There, that just lined up beautifully. Again, because I leveled the box with the window. So what this does actually, more than anything else, is it makes sure that the shutter will exit the shutter box, I guess I would call it, and enter the track, you know, very, very, you know, straight and properly every single time. So this is not structural. That's why you don't have to over tighten it. It's mostly, you know, an alignment issue. So now what we're going to do is make sure that we can, now we get into the structural part of it, which is to attach these things. So let's do that one next. Okay, so we're almost done. One of the last steps of the actual assembly is to make sure that our shutter box is affixed nice and strong to the window itself. So you'll see 1, 2, 3 screws here, and we're just going to line those up here. You can see that the steel bar is level or in line with the wood, the 2x3. So we're going to use these screws provided by Kimbo for us for this exact operation. Again, I can't I can't stress that you should be very careful not to over stress the screws. Now, make sure everything is lined up nicely. Alright, now we're going to flip it over. Make sure that the shutter mechanism is sitting properly inside there. And put in the styrofoam. And we'll be good to go. And put it into the... Alright, so let me just lift this up so that you can see what we've done here. So now you can see that the whole thing is been assembled and is affixed, properly affixed. Everything is nicely lined up. So we're basically, what I'm going to show you next, I'm going to spin this thing around so you'll be able to see the shutter actually just all jumbled up. You can see the shutter is just sort of hanging there inside. Well, what you have to do, you can grab it and roll it back. Alright, now I'm going to spin it back again so you get to see. Well, what I did here is I just fiddled with it. I rolled it back on onto the drum, and I just found the track, felt for it, and dropped the shutter straight in. So you can see with your wall, your finished wall coming to here, and your fascia of the house coming to here, and covering up the track, you will not be able to see the shutter mechanism at all. And when the shutter is up, all you see is the window, same as in any other home. At the press of a button, it'll just magically come out of nowhere. So let's put it in.